static target. And then another one of his little tips is taking those little donut weights that the baseball players put on their baseballs.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're doing your dry fire drills in your house, put that little donut weight on the front of your rifle barrel, and it makes it heavier. So you've got that extra stress of having to handle that heavier rifle, and it sort of imitates the added stress that you have when you're in a battle situation.
Gotcha.
Plus, it makes you stronger. It's weight training with your rifle.
Gotcha. Well, I mean that
so
actually
I think that would be a good thing for somebody to make is to make some different sized weights
mm-hmm.
with Picatinny rails or a little tactical rail attachment, so you could just slide the weights on your 4-rail handguard.
Yeah. And hold them up there. Well, I mean, a lot of that though is I can understand putting the weights on, but you can do. I mean, I've done where I just take quarters, and it doesn't take a whole lot. I mean, you're not talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's using a baseball, but that's a lot of weight.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a ton of weight.
Pound or two.
Oh, at least. I mean, that's a ton of weight. So I can't imagine what that would do. I think a lot of it though is, especially with carbines and stuff, it's just getting out and shooting. That's the big
mm-hmm.
that's the big thing. Is it just getting and not getting out there and going through 100 rounds of ammo in a few minutes and stuff. It's we were talking about that with Tim, is going out there and developing a cadence, a slow fire, practice. Try to make every shot perfect, and evaluate. And to be honest with you, when you start doing that, your days at the range are longer, and I find them more enjoyable. Instead of going out there and just blasting through 100 rounds, try to develop a cadence or a rhythm. That's just take your shot, evaluate your shot, and then your next shot should be better. And if it's not, then stop and start over. But I'll have to get some of his books. That's his name is Joe Nobody.
Joe Nobody, and of course that's not his birth name. It's a pseudonym because he still works in the government arena.
Gotcha.
for training and things. He worked for different government agencies, which he doesn't name, and he's also worked for different government contractors, which he doesn't name. Blackwater.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
And so he doesn't put his real name out there. But one of the great things he was talking about as far as like hardening your home, one of the best things to do is to make your home look like it's not a target to hit. And one of the things he said to do is keep a couple of cans of black spray paint. So the day after it hits the fan, you get out there with some black spray paint, and you just dust around right over the top of your door and right over the top of your windows with some black spray paint, and it looks like your house has had a fire. So now everybody assumes, everything in is just smoke damage and it all smells like smoke, so we don't want anything out of that place, right? And he said, throw some like old rags and old clothes around in the front yard so it looks like it's already been ransacked, somebody's already hit that place, don't go there. So now it looks like it's been on fire, it's already been ransacked. Move on.
Yeah.
Another good tip he said was to put nets over all your windows and your doors. So even if your door gets breached with a shotgun or a ram or whatever type of breaching system somebody might use, once they get through the hard barrier of the window or the door, now they've got that soft barrier of a net, which a net's not going to keep anybody out, but it's going to slow them down. A door's not going to keep them out. The window's not going to keep them out. None of that stuff's going to keep anybody out. It's just another layer to slow them down so that you can get to your weapon.
Yes.
And so I just thought those were just really, really great tips that he gave. And it's a great interview, and it'll be up on Prep Recon next week, probably next Wednesday. Now, one of the things that the tactics for hardening the property in my first book, An American Exit Strategy, was Matt and Karen had a wood privacy fence around their backyard. And so what Matt did is he ran wood screws facing out and facing in all the way around the top of that privacy fence. So now it's kind of like, sort of a razor wire effect. If anybody can dodge the screws on the outside, they're probably going to get caught on those screws on the inside. And another thing Matt did is he took 2x4s and just ran nails through those 2x4s and had those sitting facing up all along the perimeter of the inside of the privacy fence. So anybody jumping that fence, if they get past those screws, which they're probably going to get caught up on the screw and end up falling, they're going to land on those nails that are facing straight up on the inside of that privacy fence.
Gotcha.
And then another thing that Joe Nobody said was, the best prep is the one that nobody else knows about. So if people don't know, operational security, we talk about this all the time. If people don't know you have a hoard of beans and rice and bullets and Band-Aids, then you're never going to be an interesting target. So just not telling everybody everything that you've got.
Yeah.
And the easy one that so many people don't do, lock your door.
Yeah.
How many people don't lock their door?
Yeah.
And with this in these days with home invasions and things, at least if your door's locked, you've got a couple of seconds. If you've got a pistol on your nightstand or whatever, they're going to at least have to wake you up to get through that locked door or that locked window to get in. And you can get on whichever side of the bed gives you the best cover, and wait for them to come in there and pick them off when they come in. Lights are a big deterrent. While you have power, lights are a big deterrent for keeping burglars away, and people just kind of they'll move on to the next property.
Yeah.
If there's lights, you got lights in the front and lights in the back, they'll just move on to the next property. Same thing with a dog. Dogs they don't need electricity. They still work when the power goes out. And even a Chihuahua will at least wake you up and let you know that somebody's.
Yeah.
They'll usually know that somebody's in the backyard, that somebody that you never hear. They know that there's something else out there.
Well, it's amazing. We have the Great Pyrenees, and he's huge. Mm-hmm. He's a human, and he acts like it. He's got his own bed and everything. But it's funny because when I go down the street, I go to a barbershop, a local barbershop, and it's called Classic or Classy Cut is what it's called, and it's like I love going there because I get entertained, get to watch. They always have basketball on or whatever sports, but I get entertained. It's like that the movie with Ice Cube or whatever called Barbershop. It's just like that. It's amazing. You get in there, get all the gossip and everything, and I'll have the guys. It's hilarious. Every time I go in there, there's always someone. He's like, "Man, you live in that house with that big old white dog," and it's like, "Yep." And they all say they're like, "That dog is huge," and it's like, "Yep." And I think he's about 100. He's lost some weight. He's 168 pounds, but he's rock solid. And
you're the last house on the block anybody's going to mess with.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, even the neighborhood.
Every other house has to be cleaned out first.
Yeah. Yep.
Before they're coming to you.
Well, it's
they
funny.
Don't want to mess with that big dog.
Well, it's funny because when people walk in front of our house, as they're walking in the town or whatever, we will actually see people when Buddy starts barking. People will cross the street and start walking on the other side. Because when he barks, I mean, when we pull up in our driveway, we can hear him barking. That's in our car, with a car running, and we can hear him going at it. You don't come within 50 yards of our house without him knowing it. And it's a nuisance. I get on him sometimes because it is aggravating, but it's good to know that that he's there. And like I said, he's definitely Sandy's. He follows her everywhere she goes, and if he feels that you're going to hurt her, that's why we don't take him to the shop anymore, because we've had a couple instances where people come in and he just didn't like the way you looked. And at 168 pounds, it's going to be hard to stop him. Now I can stop him, but Sandy can't. And so the vet was like, yeah, this breed, they're gentle giants. They tell you they're gentle giants, but if they feel their whole breed is all about protection. If they feel that you're a threat to their master or to their flock, they're not going to stop until you're dead or they're dead. And that's just the way we mess with his head, though. It's hilarious because when we're all together, we'll go in separate rooms, and it drives him nuts. He likes to see everybody in the same room, and so he will literally lay. It's hilarious. He will lay in a position in which he could see or try to see in every room or see every door. And when we go to bed at night, that's what he does. He lays in a position where he can see the doors. I mean, it's just. I mean, they're just great dogs. And that's their breed. I mean, that's what they're bred to do. There's not anything special about him. That's just their breed. That's what the vet said. Said that that's what they're known for. And it's just incredible. Except, they also eat you out of house and home, though.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So I'd like to get Sue and Scott and Joe and JJ, everybody to throw up a post on the chat,
yeah,
and tell us one thing that we can do to harden our home or make it less appealing to an attack, or make our home more defendable if we were to get an attack. And then while they're doing that, I'll hit my last couple. One of the things we have here in Florida for hurricanes is we have impact windows.
Yes.
Which, they can take a coconut coming at 150 miles an hour. So that pretty much means that somebody can't bust your window out with a baseball bat because it's too resilient for that. It's not gonna stop a bullet, but it'll stop pretty much everything else. And they're expensive, but it's another good safe thing because it's your home's harder to it's harder to get into, it's harder to breach, it's harder to get in when you're home and when you're not home. And then speaking of being gone, we talked about leave the lights on, but also leave the television on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got to keep the news.
Put it on a timer so that it comes on at 5:00 at night and it stays on until 5:00 in the morning and then clicks off. You can get a timer for $10 at Walmart.
Yeah. Well, they actually make a light bulb now, or it's a light it's an LED light. You can buy it, and it actually simulates your TV. And
but it doesn't have the noise. The TV actually has the noise. You put it on Fox News, or if you don't have cable like me, you put it on like something where it's always got people talking, like like PBS or something like that.
Sure.
And it's just if somebody comes up to the door and they if the lights don't scare them off and they put their ear up to the door, they're going to hear people talking in there.
Gotcha. So it's more important too. It's not only important to have the light and everything, but it's also important to have that. Yeah, I never really thought about that.
Yeah. So you got the noise and the light, and it just and even if thinking like a thief, if I went into a house and the TV was on, it would just sketch me out. Even if I knew there was nobody there, I think that it would make me think, they left the TV on, they're probably coming right back.
They're on their way back, yeah.
Even if I knew they weren't there, just knowing that the TV's on, it makes me think, somebody's coming right back.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got you there. I mean, I can see where that would be beneficial. I don't know if anybody's on the. It's amazing. They were all chatting away, like chatting Cathy's, and now it's kind of like they're all gone away. Everybody's gone away. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me out there? Is anybody listening? I know that we have some people. We definitely have people on our live feeds and everything. It's just it's on our normal feed is gone and stuff. But I don't see anybody.
Well, we'll get it all back together. I've got something going on next Thursday night.
Sure.
But I will be back on the following Thursday night, and we'll have another great prepper topic. Oh, book 2's out.
Yes, I saw it. I saw the post.
Check your mailbox, Jeff. Your PDF copy is sitting in your mailbox right now.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, thank you. You know, yes. I haven't even gone. I haven't had time. I've been so busy.
I know I know it's been crazy for you.
Troll hunting. It always is, you know, and it's like never. It's never a dull moment. So you know, when I you know, it's amazing. A guy. This is so true. A very smart rabbi friend of mine once told me. So if you ever want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. So tonight I come down and I'm like all ready to do the show and then, you know, think I got the board fixed, and now the board started feeding back in the middle of the show, and then on top of that one of the feeds goes. It's just amazing. I just, you know, it never ends, but I'm not giving up. You know, but I will get out there. I haven't checked my email. That's the other thing too, is, you know, I've been blocking these trolls, and now I'm getting spam. They're spamming the heck out of my email. That's the next big thing. Which is kind of funny, though. Well, spam actually is you can prosecute for that. You can actually turn that in. And, you know, hacking into a website, you know, the FBI, I did a follow-up call. I sent off all the reports and stuff, and, you know, they basically said, get in line. They asked if there's any credit card information taken, and I said, no, we don't do credit cards. And they said, so what's the extent of, and I said, well, there was no information that was taken. They just, you know, took down my website. And the guy was like, and you're complaining why? It's almost like it was like, oh, well, that's no big deal. You know, that's no big deal.
We don't have the resources for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now, here's Joe's tip for keeping your home burglar proof. He says, put size 15 muddy work boots on your front porch with a note on the door that says, Bubba, I'll be right back with the 12-gauge ammo. By the way, stay close to the house. The pit bulls got loose.
There you go. That's awesome.
That's a clever one right there. Is it low tech? It's low tech and it's low cost, you know.
That's funny.
$15 for a pair of work boots at the thrift store and a piece of paper, you know, and you're done. So that's a good one.
Well, one of the things is, you know, I tell people you should never do that. You know, everybody, I mean, we're all proud members of the NRA or whatever gun club. The last thing, though, you want to do is put a sticker on your house. You know, because there's nothing that says, hey, there's guns in here more than an NRA sticker. And I tell people that all the time. You know, when you join the NRA, you get the stickers, and it's like, you know, that's the last thing. I had, not a friend, but when I was getting certified as an NRA as an instructor, our teacher was telling us, the instructor was telling us that they went hunting one time, and they said during the hunting season is when you really got to watch out. That they went into the diner, you know, and to sit down and eat, and they came out and all their cars were broken into, and their guns were all gone.
Oh man!
Because, you know, and the police said, well, that's typical. They wait because they know you're hunters and they know you have guns, so they just sit here and wait. They wait till you go in the store. Most people, you know, don't lock them up securely, and you know, they leave the guns in the back of the truck or in the, you know, in the camper part of the truck. They don't secure them, and you know, 2 seconds, a criminal can pop the tailgate within 2 seconds, and, you know, and all your guns are usually in cases, so they're bundled up really nice and neat for them to grab. But they say that's a huge issue too. So when you're out hunting, or when you know, I've got, you know, good friend of mine who's also worked for some of those agencies. He doesn't, none of his weapons are ever in tactical bags, ever. And he said that because there's nothing that says I have a gun more than, as you're moving in and out of your car or whatever than a tactical bag. He's like, believe it or not, a guitar case or, other things, gym bags, other, put your weapons in other things other than gun cases. And
tennis racket.
Yeah. That's, yeah. Fiddle, whatever you got to do.
Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah, don't.
So book two's out. Book two's out. It's live on Amazon. You
awesome.
can get the Kindle is available on Amazon. The paperback, I don't know if you get straight from Amazon. You may have to get it through CreateSpace, but if you put American Meltdown Book 2 of the Economic Collapse Chronicles in your Amazon search, I think it's gonna give you both. Both awesome. Are going to come up, the Kindle and the paperback that you can buy through CreateSpace, and then it'll be live on Amazon later this week. But Kindle and paperback are both ready, and of course, just a real quick synopsis of what's going on in Book 2. America's entered a full-scale financial meltdown. In the Book 1, we sort of had the lead up to the meltdown, and then in Book 2, we've talked about the derivatives bubble on the show before, and that's what happens. Interest rates spike. It takes out that $700 billion derivatives bubble, and that's the end of the banking system. It's the end of the dollar. You had Ellen Brown on your show before. She was talking about the Banking Reform Act of 2005, the Bankruptcy Reform Act, of 2005, where they assigned super priority to derivatives holders, and if you're a depositor in a bank, you're basically an unsecured creditor. So all your money that's in the bank's gone when that derivatives bubble blows, and then so in the book, they're gonna bail everybody out. They're gonna give them their FDIC insured money, and the IMF steps in after they've been cleaned out by the derivatives holders who had super priority. The FDIC is going to reimburse their accounts as soon as but they don't get that money because it's frozen, and then the IMF steps in to take that for a bail-in in order to secure the funds to keep the American government going.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of the double whammy, but that's probably that's very, very likely. It's something that could totally happen.
Oh, absolutely.
And so Matt and Karen Baer, they do their best to navigate this complete currency collapse and all the social disruptions that come along with it. And of course, in Book 1, they relocated to a rural area in